So for the 10-minute presentation, you've been called back by the company you gave your full presentation to for a second visit. And they've asked you to speak only about the ethical aspects of the problem and to explain why your solution successfully handles any ethical issues. As I said, you'll have 10 minutes, no Q&A, no slides, no video. And I can see that you've got 2 team members. I think it's just 2 team members presenting.
We have
3. Okay, Benjamin as well. Good. And again, I will try to give you a 2-minute warning when we get close to the end. All right, so whenever you're ready, let me know and I'll start the timer.
Great, thank you. Good morning. Thank you for inviting us, Inclusive Investing Consulting Group, back to speak with the Merrill Financial Board. We are glad to be back to talk about some of the sustainable development goals, specifically decent work and economic growth, and as well as reducing inequalities, in particular wealth inequalities. So with that, thank you for having us again, and my colleague Erica will identify the ethical problem of our case.
Thank you, Ben. So today I want to talk about the main problem that our recommendation aims to fix is wealth inequality. Wealth inequality has long been a global problem. It's not just a national problem. It has been everywhere, and most countries have different rate of wealth inequality. For the recommendation that we want to give Merrill today, we want to focus on domestic wealth inequality as the first step toward the global, more bigger wealth inequality problem. So over the past 5 decades, wealth inequality has been getting worse. According to a statistic that we showed before, wealth inequality in America has been getting worse by the year. For example, in 2001, the middle income family middle income family wealth is around $100,000, while the upper income family wealth is about $600,000. While in 2016, the middle income family now still stay at $100,000 wealth, and the upper income family has grown their wealth to $800,000, which is a really fast growth for the upper income family. Now, it's really easy to make a distinction between the 1% and the bottom 50%, but however, we are seeing that in the middle class family, there is still distinction between of wealth in the middle class family. Therefore, therefore our recommendation aims to solve this problem. Ben?
Thank you, Erica. So when addressing this ethical issue of income and wealth inequality, we'd like to talk about the power of investing and also specifically SPACs, as they have had increased popularity over the past year. So the problem we see arising is largely in part due to middle income families' lack of access to the investing world. We see a lot of these gains from the stock market going to the top earners and institutional investors. And we see that as an issue that can be addressed to help solve these problems. For SPACs specifically, they have gained a lot of popularity in the past year. They are special purpose acquisition companies that are focused on merging with a company in order to raise capital more efficiently. Sorry, excuse me. So I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. We see that SPACs have also followed the same trend of providing wealth benefits to higher income earners. And we want to ensure that those type of early access merger IPO type opportunities are available to the middle class and retail investor crowd. With that, now Garrett will discuss the ethical conflict.
When looking at this ethically, investments are ultimately a double-edged sword, as on one hand, it's a great opportunity to build wealth, while on the other hand, if you don't know what you're doing, it's very risky. It's this risk of not knowing what you're doing which is why these types of investment strategies have generally been blocked off from those who don't have a higher end of capital. But SPACs can be a great tool for lower to middle class citizens to build their wealth. But we do recommend that because of this risk of not knowing what you're doing, that we ensure that new investors can get as much information as possible. Now, moving to Erica for our recommendation.
As my colleague Ben has mentioned, investing has great power. If you invest $1 a day since 20 years ago, by now you would have around $20,000. Whereas if you have saved that $1 a day from 20 years ago, right now you would only have $8,000. So there's a huge gap between saving and investing. And we feel like stock ownership in America statistics show that not many people are investing, as the 90% of the population only owns about 7% of stock, while the top 1% own 51% of stock. Therefore, we feel like education is one of the big recommendations that can solve this problem. Therefore, we recommend Merrill to invest in its education program, as we want to target the underserved, especially underserved community. Now, we have 3 segments we want to focus on. First is the middle and high school age. Statistic has shown that during the middle school age, students tend to benefit more from financial education as they remember it throughout their high school career and into their college career. Therefore, we want to partner. We feel like Merrill should partner with Girl Scout USA and produce a financial education program. And that would help those girls, first of all, become more knowledgeable when it comes to investing, and they would also know about the resources available to them in the future if they need it. And secondly, we want to target the 18 to 30 years old group. This includes retail investors that are new to the market who are just able to invest. And we want to do this through community college outreach programs, such as courses, seminar that we're gonna teach investment and financial education also. And we feel like Merrill should send the representative out in order to get the Merrill name closer to these people who are attending these courses, and also to teach them and give them professional financial advices that they can get at Merrill. And lastly, we want to target the middle-aged population. We want to ensure that all population are well informed, and the middle age, especially, we feel like can benefit from the education program that we are providing for the middle school and the community age, as they can be the parents, they can be a family member, or they can be someone working for those colleges and school that can also benefit from learning or attending these sessions. Ben, you want to talk about technology?
Yes, so as a part of our recommendation, we suggested that Merrill expand current app development to create an app that is focused primarily on the 18 to 30-year-old age range that we have identified. We believe that this technology can reach the younger emerging market. And also, we believe that Merrill has a great place to be the trustworthy voice in this market. We see some of the emerging players that are dominating this space and dominating this age range. Robinhood, Webull, we see them a lot in the news as being untrustworthy sources. That in recent months there have been some questions as to who they're getting money from, or restricting trading access, or just gamifying the investing experience and kind of making it like a casino. We see that Merrill can step into this market and be the trustworthy voice amongst a crowd of new kind of up and coming companies, as well as getting ahead of larger banks that Merrill could be competing with, who aren't really offering many services to this retail investing crowd.
You have a minute to go. 1 minute to go.
Thank you. So with that, Garrett will now talk about the importance of building trust in communities.
All right, now when it comes to trust, Merrill's a big bank, and big banks aren't really all that big in trust in lower and middle class people. So a big reason for that is because of losses that these groups have suffered because of these banks. For example, 2008. Now, we do believe Merrill can build this trust back, mainly through its community outreach and financial literacy, but additionally through educational programs, mainly with colleges and the Girl Scouts. Now, if we do all this, combined with Merrill providing the great services it has been for years and decades, we believe that this trust can be assuredly built.
So lastly, we just like to touch on how Merrill has been providing this great financial information for many years, and that by expanding access to investing to a larger audience, we will be addressing some of the wealth inequalities we see in the United States and working towards address inequalities on a global scale. With that, we thank you for your time today and open up to any questions.